like obviously it was my first time running a business. And I feel like you kind of just roll with the punches a little bit and you kind of don't know like what is the right way to do it until we worked with someone like you where it's like, okay, Airtable, guys, like just stop doing everything on Google Sheets, hop on Airtable. This is going to be a lot more scalable. You need like a single source of truth, which is kind of like what I remember Steven talking about a ton, which is like single source of truth. This is where everything's going to live. If anyone needs anything, this is where it's at. SOPs, clients, onboarding calls, like everything, or onboarding forms, it's all going to be in there.
What's up? We got Alex from Drippi here, and he's going to share some stuff about his experience working with OpsKings. So Alex, I would love you to introduce yourself and then tell us all what kind of business you run and why you reached out to us in the first place.
For sure. Well, dude, first of all, Ryan, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure working with you guys, honestly. And I don't like say that lightly. It's honestly been amazing. I run Drippi, so run a bunch of stuff at Drippi. We have the agency where we just focus on sending high quality messages, Twitter DMs essentially, and then the SaaS side of things as well. And so essentially I reached out to you guys because like Drippi is really nice, but it doesn't have like a huge dashboard where if you're running a Drippi agency, where you can like see how many messages you're sending like across all your accounts, right? Because like at any point in time, we're at like 25-ish clients. So it's like, okay, well, how can I just put everything in one dashboard so that reporting doesn't take fucking 15 hours, right? Just like recording Loom videos and going into the accounts and looking what scripts are working best, what scripts aren't working. And so that was honestly the main reason why I reached out. So like reporting was a huge one. I wanted that to be like as automated as possible, to where I can just like look at a screen, record a Loom, and then just be essentially like done with that kind of report where I can just see everything in one place. And then also we were running everything on like Google Sheets. And I know you guys fucking hate that.
Yeah, I saw your Google Sheets. I was like, dude, we got to stop this. This is not okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So like moving on to Airtable, and I guess at the beginning there is a bit of a learning curve. But then once you are in there and like once your team is on there, it's kind of like you don't even look at Google Sheets ever again. It's just like you guys describe it as being less flexible, but that allows it to be a lot more scalable. Right. And so that's what we've experienced. Also the onboarding, like people love our freaking onboarding. And it's like this, like, I don't know, just whenever I got onboarded with you guys, I remember that and I was like, shit, I want that.
Oh, like the Slack bot thing? Yeah, which is all formatted nicely.
Yeah. And then like the button, right? Because it's like book your onboarding call here. And then it's like a button, it's not just a link. People love that. And then also, I don't know, it's just kind of like, it makes you seem more professional. People look at all that and it's like, okay, well, these guys, like, it seems like they know what they're doing, right? Because they've like obviously invested into their ops. So that's a huge plus. And it's just kind of like, okay, someone just paid you. Like, okay, let's try and make this the most like high quality onboarding or high quality experience you can. And so with that onboarding, that's honestly been a game and legit, like everyone asks about it. It's like, yo, where? It's like those guys. And then, yeah, so those were kind of the main things. And also to like make everything, how can I say this? Like we were running a business, but it wasn't like, obviously it was my first time running a business. And I feel like you kind of just roll with the punches a little bit and you kind of don't know like what is the right way to do it until we worked with someone like you where it's like, okay, Airtable, guys, like just stop doing everything on Google Sheets, hop on Airtable. This is going to be a lot more scalable. You need like a single source of truth, which is kind of like what I remember Steven talking about a ton, which is like single source of truth. This is where everything's going to live. If anyone needs anything, this is where it's at. SOPs, clients, onboarding calls, like everything, or onboarding forms, it's all going to be in there. So yeah, that's kind of why we reached out and why everything's been working so well.
Sweet. Yeah, I love that. And actually I will say, so by the way, we'll pay you for referrals. Like so look it up. Okay. Look it up. Dude, yeah, we pay 10% lifetime. So yeah. So it makes it money. Dude, you handled a lot in one question. I don't even know, like you kind of just answered the rest of my questions for me. Man, I don't know. I mean, one thing that's sort of interesting is it's been actually a while since we talked last. Yep. So like talked on Twitter a little bit, right? But like I wanna say what it was like January, February
when we first started.
Yeah, do you remember when it was?
I don't remember exactly when it was. It's probably like May, February, March.
March. Yeah. So now it's like August when we're recording this, right? So one of the things that I think is interesting, or like maybe you could touch on, is like longevity of a system. So a lot of times you have people building tech and it works for a day or a week, and then after a while it's like, hey, like maybe it was like it's like less useful now, whatever. But like now we're connecting and it's like 6 months later, right? Roughly.
Right.
Was there any? Talk to us about like the longevity of the system, right? And your experience with it continuing to work really well, like being like not just good in theory, but like take home good and continuing to be good for you and your clients, right? So talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's held up perfectly. We're just like adding new clients pretty much every week, and it's just kind of like more stress on the system just because it's more data that's being like put into it. And it's like handled everything perfectly. No, like nothing. I hate make, and I know that's kind of like your guys' jam. Nothing is broken, thank God. Like everything is just running smoothly, and it's been running smoothly for the past months. And so, in terms of the longevity of the systems that you guys implemented with us, they've been great. Everything is held up. We haven't had to make any like, we haven't asked for any changes. There's no changes that really there's nothing that was built and then us later be like, oh shit, actually I don't think that was like the best way to build it, or I don't think that's going to be super useful. Like everything that was built, we pretty much use on a daily basis. And we still do like 6 months later, right? And so I think that speaks to the longevity and how you guys actually like go about planning, right? Because it's not like you guys just build out whatever the client wants. I mean, it is kind of that, but it's more of like, okay, let's do an analysis. What do you need? Where's your time being spent? And then based off of that, we build out the systems, right? Or that was like my experience with you guys. It was like, okay, onboarding. And it was stuff I'd never done before, right? Because it's like, okay, map out your whole operation. So it's like, okay, and Lucidchart. After like you guys, I mean, I knew about Lucidchart, but after I saw how you guys were running it, like, dude, everything is now on Lucidchart. And now I'm like fucking in Lucidchart every day.
Sick. You're like, Lucidchart. Yeah, you got to get on Lucidchart, bro. People are like, oh, fuck, 100%. Alex is so good, man. He's an operations genius. Yeah.
Lucidchart is elite. And so, that was
honestly, dude, it's all how you use it. Same with Airtable. Like if you showed, and this would actually be a funny exercise, post on Upwork, like, hey, here's my Google Sheets. I want an Airtable based built in this, and just see what people come up with. Because it
just sucks.
Airtable's like, it's all raw materials. It's all raw materials, right? Yeah. So you can with you ever had like those bridges out of like spaghetti and marshmallows? And so like you can have like a child can build one, like can build something out of spaghetti and marshmallows, but it's not going to hold up very well. But like if you take someone who's a civil engineer, and like so Steven and I have engineering backgrounds, so like we can talk on this. To this, if you take someone who's like a civil engineer like Steven, like he can build something that like will probably hold your weight out of the exact same materials. I don't know if that's. Yeah. I'm kind of exaggerating, right? But and so a lot of people they think like Airtable is this like magical tool, and I've seen some.
It seems like it, dude. It honestly seems like to me.
It is like I tell you, like Steven and I messed like we went back and forth on like how to build your system out, like it for a minute, right? Because you had.
It was different.
You had like these Google Sheets which were insane, and we were like, okay, so there's a relationship, like a client reserves an account, but then that's reserved somewhat, and then an account is assigned to like a proxy, but then there's a campaign, but like Drippi calls a campaign this, but like so we have to like kind of reference that name so it's clear, but then really take into consideration the fact that one account could run content for like one client and then switch, because you'd pay for the account for the like per month or whatever, and set it up with like a generic profile picture and name and verify it. So the account has a thing, the proxy has a thing, the campaign has a thing. There's like stats that you got to track against the campaign and then report back up again. And so I will say that I'm quite proud of your Airtable, actually. Like, dude,
I love it. Like, it's so sick.
Yeah, it is the. Was there any? Because I do like how you said, like, yeah, at first it's, it's tough to change from something that you're used to and comfortable with to like a new like model of looking at your business and like what it actually is.
You're just so used to like going to one specific spot for everything, and then you just switch over to something else. But it's kind of one of those where you just know it's going to be better, but you just kind of have to like learn how to use it. And you guys were super helpful with that too. Like I remember Steven sending over a bunch of looms and me being super annoying, like, "Yo, like, where's the like,
where is this? Like,
where is
you
this?"
Mean? Yeah, it's like with anything. Yeah, so I was trying to remember like how were you referred by Matt Lucero?
No.
How did you hear about us in the first place?
I'm pretty sure it was like from one of your tweets.
Oh, really?
I think someone interacted with like maybe I followed you, or maybe someone that I followed interacted with one of your tweets. I think it was like the CA guys talking about you. And then
like Andre and Christian and Daniel and those guys?
Yeah. I think those guys were talking about you because I've been following those guys for a while. And then I like stalked you. So I went to your profile. I remember, I watched a YouTube video of yours going into like what you guys did for an email marketing agent or for a cold email agency. I was like, shit, like, yeah, I want that.
Yeah, because your business is very, very data heavy, and it's kind of the same thinking, right? Yeah,
same thinking. But what was harder about this is that like this isn't like we're not plugging it or we're not connecting it to like Smart Lead or Instantly, right? So like
actually
like,
talk to that because we had to like interact with Drippi to have an API built to then get us the information that we needed. Actually, it might have been, was it like the hidden API stuff that.
Like there's no public API for Drippi. Like to this day, no one else can like access it. It was literally just like, hey Jane, be a bro, can you help us out?
So is he like we just had like we had the founder of Drippi in Slack being like, yo, like can you guys like we got to hook up Alex here. Can we like get an API built? And he's like, yeah, I got you. I'm like, cool. Yeah. We need these API endpoints. Here's the thing, like if you're working with a SaaS tool, like it is in their best interest to enable their power users. But like oftentimes they don't know what use cases are valuable. So we just like had the founder of Drippi in our Slack, like, yo, can we we need this and this and this to get Alex to use your tool more. Like, can we do that? And he's like, yeah.
And now I'm in Drippi, so there we go.
And now, and then you're part of the squad. Yeah, dude, that's
part of the squad. Yeah, that was super helpful. Because I mean, it was like, it's not like it took a lot more work from you guys, right? Because it's not just like plugging into something that you guys have done 15,000 times with like other cold email people. Right. It's like, okay, this shit's new. It's kind of like, okay, let's see how we can connect.
It is, but it's cool to like, here's the dirty little secret of tech people is we like hacking shit and doing stuff where it's like, yo, like, the support people from this tool say this is not possible to do. Like Clay support was like, no, you can't do this. And one of our guys, David, is like, ha, I figured it out anyways. Suckers.
Wow.
Right? And like it's like automatically creating like Clay tables and stuff, right? So I'd say like, yeah. So what you can do is like in like Google Chrome, there's like the front end of so you have like the website. And the website has like a back-end server that it like talks to.
Right.
So when you click on something on a website, it's like, oh, I send this request to like a web server, and then the web server comes back, and you can see all that traffic in the network tab.
Yeah.
And so you can like make your own API for a tool that doesn't have an API, because you can see like the raw data going back and forth.
Oh shit!
So what you have to do, that's what you do is you like open up Chrome and you do it like the Chrome tools. You have to load up. We have to get your password and stuff to do it. So you load up the website and you like monitor all the packets. And you're like, okay, well, it's sending this text and it's getting this code back, and then it's sending that code and getting this other text back to like load the top bar, and then it sends like this information, gets this request, and so you have to like string these things together to be like send login, get cookie, like send this. It's like this manual process where you're like refreshing the page over and over and over again to like sniff the traffic.
Wow. Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's kind of the thing with you, no? Like, everyone just knows you as the guy that can do what other people say can't be automated.
Yeah, it is where the tool themselves, like Shopify, I have this like thing from Shopify support where they're like, we talk to the developers and this thing is impossible. And then I just have a screenshot of the actual code like next to it. Like, you guys are, because I remember doing this thing for like an e-com, like an SEO company. And they needed to publish articles with like the meta title, meta description and stuff like that. And Shopify was like, that you can't do this. I'm like, that is stupid. You must be like, it must be possible. This is
right.
No, like the support people are wrong. Like this doesn't make any sense. And so I had to like guess and check and infer some stuff. Like, what if I send it this way? Like, and there's no documentation. Like there's shit for this kind of stuff. Right. But that's kind of stuff that we kind of like to do. What I will say, like, props to you, because like a lot of people, like, you need a person on the other side who's like, oh no, like I really believe in this business. Like I'm going to make this, like this is going to work. And you have to have like a really good service and like fun. Like we can't automate marketing strategy. There's no amount of like people, oh, can you make an AI prompt that like just, no, like you have to just be good at writing copy. And like, if I have your template, then I can repeat the template that you wrote that you were good at. Right. But I can't just write. I can't. I don't know. There's no AI prompt that's like going to just be a better copywriter than a really good human copywriter. Yeah. And so props to you, because like a lot of people don't have the ability to start. So like the 0 to 1 is the hardest. Once you're at 1, you're like, you figured out the process that works and you're like actually good at whatever it is, right? Be it cold outreach on Twitter or something else. And you like have the balls, frankly, to like really scale it. Right. Because a lot of people would stop at like, okay, I got a couple of clients and they don't really like, they don't have that aggression to grow. Mm-hmm. And so we, you know, kind of on our side, we like need someone like you, who's a good entrepreneur, who's like, okay, I got the system. I got this janky spreadsheet, but like it's working. And I just need you guys to like take this janky spreadsheet and make it so like this kind of idea is like better, so I can keep on going and like get to the next level. Right.
And it's been super, super helpful. And I think that was like one of my biggest things, like hopping on. I was like, how the fuck are these guys gonna, because like we had everything. It was like organized chaos, right? Because like we knew where everything was, but like for someone that's never been in our like Google Sheet world, right? Like our Google Sheets, it's like, how the fuck are these guys gonna actually like pull this off? And you guys fucking did it. So yeah, no, it's super awesome. Again, use it every day. Use it a lot for like Twitter too. Cause like I can see how many like messages we're sending out, how many positive replies we're getting. And so those stats are pretty nice. And so you can just like, it's easy to show social proof now. It's a way easier.
Yeah. Cause here's what you can do. Actually, some people like, Nick Abraham does this. He'll like share screenshots on like examples of what his operations is. And I think the strategy there is like, he's just being like, look at how awesome it is when you work with me. And so you could share like, hey, so this is what the onboarding process looks like when you hire Drippi. Like first you get this, and then we track our stats like here. And then this is how we like, you want to know how we book X number of meetings per month? It's this, then this, then this. And all we have to do is like click here and monitor these two numbers. And we create like, this copy, and then keep going. And so actually here's there's some interesting stuff we've done around like, so I think it's a marketing tool, like process is a marketing tool. So that people have a reason to believe you. And a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll use the company brain and Lucidchart as a sales asset. They're like, oh yeah, you want to know like what happens? Okay, let me just share my screen. And first we do this. And then there's like, We monitor your
I do
campaign.
that.
We create campaigns. Yeah, right?
Yeah. No, because and now, dude, like legit, I do that. And for our clients' Loom videos, I also encourage them to do the same thing. Because like just having a specific process for a specific like thing that you do in your business or whatever the wording is, it just like or in my eyes, it just adds credibility. It's like, okay, well, these guys know like exactly what's going to happen within the next 7 days to get me to where I want to be, or within the next whatever days, right? And the client can also see like, okay, so day 1, this is what's going to happen. Day 2, onboarding call. Day 3, scripts. Day 4, leads. Day 5, right? And then we can get going on day 7. And so that just like, okay, well, these guys know what they're doing. It's not like they're just like putting shit together as they go.
Yeah, because so many people don't have their shit together. And so if you're the one who does, it not only are people more confident before the sale, they then get better, like a better first impression, better results. They stay for longer. They refer their friends. And then you, the founder, are more confident, like, oh no, I can add a lot of customers. I don't have to worry about like, I know you were like, you told us you spent like Mondays were hell.
Now it's like, the whole weekend, dude. Now it went from Monday to the whole weekend.
for the customer updates.
Yeah, I just do it because it's just a lot more. Like each one takes less time, but it's just
right.
Like,
you have like
more.
How many more? So what's your customer load now? How many? So you were at what, like 25?
I was checking how many Drippi accounts we have right now, and we're at like 32. At a new one today. And like pretty much every client has their own Drippi account.
Right.
So yeah. And we were at like maybe like 20 when we first started with you guys.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's just been, it's just way nicer, dude. It's just like a better experience, not only for me, but also for like the team. It's like, okay, just Airtable. All our SOPs, and you guys, I didn't even like ask for this. You guys built out like a SOP, bank.
Hub.
Yeah, and it's like searchable
SOP
too,
bank.
So it's super cool.
Yeah.
And it's just a game changer because like our SOPs used to kind of just be in a Google Drive, but like.
Oh yeah, because if it's like kind of separate from it, here's my theory: like no one wants to read instructions.
Yeah.
Right. So like people will now it's like, okay, it's a necessary evil to like have some kind of like guided thing, but once people, if they have to go to like a separate place to see what they have to do next, then they're kind of just they're not going to do it. Right? They're going to refer to it once when they first onboard because they want to do the thing. But then once they feel like they know it, they're not going to slow down their work that they're getting paid to do to then stop the work and go somewhere else because they don't want it. They don't want to slow down the thing that you are paying them to do. Right. So the more you can like bake it into, bake it into like where the work is actually done versus like a Google Drive folder or whatever. It's like somewhere separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been killer, man.
Sick.
It's been killer.
Sick, dude. Well, Alex, appreciate your time, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
Always a pleasure. Appreciate the kind words. Any other closing remarks that you like, things I didn't ask you or things you wanted to add before we wrap?
I think one thing that a lot of people don't know about your guys' service is that number one, it's like scaling through systems, like systems to help companies scale, but then also like on everything else. So like scaling through people aspect. I was hopping on calls with Tony as well. So that's kind of like the duality of your guys' service that I feel like people just know you guys as like the systems people, but you guys also offer like the other side of the equation, which is really important as well. And just as hard in my opinion. So I think that's huge. And yeah, highly recommend anyone work with you guys. Get on Airtable, have Ryan and Tony just take care of your stuff, and it's going to be happy days.